Hello fellow YouTubers, I'm Christopher Galosi at Galosi Enterprises, and going along with cooking off grid, today we're going to be doing a meat sauce for our spaghetti. Once again, we're going with the idea of there's a storm out, power's out, things of that nature. And this time, because I got a request from my buddy Dan for meat sauce, we're going to do a traditional Italian. We got sausage here and ground beef. We're going to combine it, and we're going to also use regular link sausage. We got two different types of onions, a pepper, and we got a ton of tomatoes I picked up at auction for a ridiculously insane price. Now, we are not going to use the food mill this time because I was asked to do it differently. So we're going to use the colander to sieve everything out like we would use a food mill. Once again, it's going to be the same way. We put all of our tomatoes in, and then from there, fill it up with water till the top, put the lid on, and then wait until they soften up, and then we just put it right here into the Dutch oven, and then we fry everything up in the frying pan, and then let it all simmer for a couple hours. Let's get started. Now that we got the tomatoes on here stewing, or boiling, however you want to call it, to save time, we're going to start chopping up our veggies. Now, I'm going to bring this little bag to your attention. This is actually celery and carrots that are dehydrated that we did in our previous video, preserving the harvest. So this is actually going to be used in our gravy mix here. So while we're at it, we're going to cut the onions off. We're going to use the claw method, and we're going to just chop them. Now, I decided to use two different types of onions here, the white sweet and the red, just to give it a little bit of texture, a little different taste. So, yeah, it's all good, as they say. Now, since we don't want this big, we want it small, we're going to just start chopping it. Okay folks, now that our tomatoes are nice and gooey, now since we're going to make our gravy in this, we're going to put the colander in here. Once again, we've already washed it out, so it's good to go. Now, very simply, we're going to scoop the tomatoes out. We're going to fill them up as much as we can. And then we're going to use our tomato masher, which is right here, to just get everything out and done. That way everything's going to get caught in the colander that we don't want, and all the stuff that we do want, it's going to be down into the Dutch oven. Alright, now the fun part, we just start smashing this. As you can see, I've kind of overloaded this colander, but it really doesn't matter because we're just keep smashing, and it's all going to just drip out. And what we're going to have left after it's all said and done, the skins and the stems and everything up here, and everything else in the bottom. And when we use the potato masher, it's just, it makes life that much easier. Now I know this is tedious, but in a lot of ways it's well worth it. And you just keep doing this and moving it around and stirring it. You'll figure it out. This isn't rocket science here, folks. Alright, YouTubers, you're probably noticing there's a different pot. We had to switch pots because, well, frankly, there's just way too much liquid coming out. And as you can see, we had a little bit of an overflow. So what we're going to do is continue doing it this way until we basically mash it down. And then we're going to do a transfer. And we'll take it from there. But that was my fault. I should have realized that we needed more, but hey, it happens. Okay, fellow YouTubers, we've been doing this for about 20 minutes now, and as you can see, it's very time consuming. Now, it's a little bit of a trick, because once you start using the potato masher to mash it down, then you shift over to a spoon to get the meat of the tomato and keep the skins out. So what you wind up is with this. On the outside of the colander, you just scrape it and then you dump it. And that's it. And this is the end result. Now, with that being said, we are boiling the remainder of the sauce we had, so we're going to try and get it simmered down a bit. And if we need some more, we're going to add it just a little bit. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to lower this sauce and we're going to take it off. And we're going to put our gravy on here. This is going to be right here. So we'll let that cool, and then it'll be time for the frying pan. Alright, now we're going to put some, actually, because we're going to use everything, it really doesn't matter because, well, it just doesn't. So we're going to pop this in. As you see, we're frying it all up. Now what we want to do is have these in here to where they're almost translucent. Now, an easy way to do this is just take the pan and just square it up like that. Wait a few minutes and take it from there. Now, getting back to our garlic, what we're going to do with our garlic, I'm going to just drop it in here, like so. And it'll cook separately. Good. Alright, as you can see now, these are nice and translucent. So what we're going to do is we're going to just drop them in like this. Now we still got more, which is fine. Now, the way this is going to work, we're going to repeat the process. We're going to drop in some more pork. And while we're browning it, as you can see, just kind of break it up. Now remember, this is our weak burner right here. So that's perfect to make spaghetti in, because you don't want it to burn. And this one is obviously your stronger one. It just makes out for a nice combination. Now remember, when you do this, slow is always better. And then don't forget to stir, because remember, we want to get that nice pork flavor action in there. Now, when this is done, we're going to start going over and start working on the beef. Now we can also mix it in a little bit. It really has no real difference. Since there's no real difference, it doesn't matter if we mix the beef in now, later, what have you. Now, if you do want, just smooth this out like we did last time. Now we got sausage right here. So what we could do, as a little bit of a time saver, is just cut the sausage in half right now and toss it in. Okay, fellow YouTubers, as you can see now, sausage is nice and browned. All we're going to do is just drop it in like you did the others. Now, once again, this is over a medium heat. Now, if you want to get an idea how medium, that's how medium it is. There's really not much in it involved here. It's just enough to get the pan warm and give you a nice little sizzle action. So now we got this done. We can just continue. Drop some more of the the pork in, excuse me, because this is our last. Just drop it in there. And then just move right on to the beef. Now once again, you're not really cooking this, you're just browning it, because it's going to cook in the gravy here. Of course, remember, add salt and pepper to taste. Now, I don't use any type of sugar in it. I don't see any reason to. And remember, cover it when you're ready. Right now we're pretty much almost ready to go, so there's no great loss covering it. Just browning this. Now once this is brown, we will dump this in and we'll just kick back and let it simmer. Now you're probably wondering, with the leftover sauce we have in this pot, we could do a couple different things. One, we could reduce it some more, or we could keep it and have it as a base, or since it's pretty much along the lines of a summer gravy, we could just freeze it and then use it at a later time. Either way, it's perfectly good, and it would be a waste just to throw it away. Just something to think about. Okay, now that our beef is browned, I let it cook a little bit longer because remember it's a low heat. I went to my garden and I picked up some more basil because we didn't add any. Now this is really good because all we're going to do here, just cut it, or I should say rip it, and just drop it in. This is fresh basil, and it doesn't matter, just make some nice good rips. And once the rips are done, because remember this isn't dried, so it's less concentrated. I just drop that in like so. Now with our beef, as you can see, it's been nicely browned. So what we'll do is we're going to just drop this in. Just do a scoop in the drop. And then just kind of like give it a little stir here. Now remember, this is always seasoned to taste. If you don't like basil or onions or something, or if you're allergic to onions, don't put them in, or if you don't like it, remember, just put something else in. There's all kinds of great suitable substitutes. So after we scoop this in, we're going to just cover. So that being said, we're going to finish this up. Just kind of drop it in like so. We are going to shut this burner off. And we're going to slide this guy over. Put the cast iron down to cool. We're going to just stir this in. And as you can see right here, it's going to be a nice thick gravy or meat sauce, however you want it. And we just let it cook. Now remember, it is a cast iron Dutch oven. And just let it go. Just cover it and forget it. But remember now, we are using a Coleman, so always check your fuel because there's not an endless supply. Welcome back, fellow YouTubers. As you can see, it's dark out. It's approximately 7 o'clock in the evening. For you military types, it's 1900 hours. We got the Coleman camp stove going. We have the spaghetti gravy or sauce, depending on what part of the world you're with. As you see, we have a nice slow boil, and the sausage is just cooking really nice. And as you can tell, the security light just went out again, which is fine. But it's nice, it's thick. We're keeping it nice and tight with the lid. The water, right now we're trying to bring up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, we'll just put the spaghetti in and take it from there. Alright, folks. As you see, we got a nice rolling boil here. We're going to get our spaghetti. I'm going to just drop it in. Now, since I am feeding for a family, we're going to use 2 because, let's face it, leftovers are always great. Drop it in. Stir. And then from there, depends on how you like it. I like mine a little on the al dente side. So, what we're going to do now is just let it simmer. And it should be done in a few minutes. Meanwhile, we are going to get our plate and we're going to prep everything. Okay, now we got our plate. I personally like a huge plate. This has been my family for years. Now what we're going to do is just stir it up a little. You put a little at the bottom, like so. Yeah, like that. Place the lid. Keep stirring the pasta. When it's ready, we're going to just check it. Right now, we could definitely tell it's not ready. It still has that crunch to it, so I'm going to just keep stirring it. And then once it's done, we're going to just dump it in the colander and transfer it over. Well, fellow YouTubers, we're ready. Now, there's a couple different ways we can do this. As you can see, this is boiling water. The easiest way to do this is to grab our towel, invert the colander, like so. And then just pour it out. You have to be a little on the careful side with this. And it's actually, no, it's not going to want to lock in. Sometimes it likes to lock in, sometimes it doesn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this, and then we're going to slowly pour, and we're going to just do it all in the garden because you don't have to worry about it. And we're going to check, see how much we strained out. Okay, we still got some more in there. Continue. And there we go. We've inverted it. And we're done. Meanwhile, we have our stove off. Perfect. We just drop it in. And our cup is overflowing. Put some more. Gravy on it with the sausage. And there is a nice meat sauce for you, cooked off-grid style. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.